You're a fine armful now, Mary, with those 20 pounds you gained.
I've gotten too fat, you mean, dear. I really ought to reduce.
Ah, none of that, my lady. You're just right. We'll have no talk of reducing. Is that why you ate so little breakfast?
So little? I thought I ate a lot.
You didn't. Not as much as I'd like to see, anyhow.
You expect everyone to eat the enormous breakfast you do. No one else in the world could without dying of indigestion.
I hope I'm not as big a glutton as that sounds. But thank God I've kept my appetite. I have the digestion of a young man of 20. If I am 65.
Surely have, James. No one could deny that. Why did the boys stay in the dining room, I wonder? Kathleen must be waiting to clear the table.
It's a secret confab they don't want me to hear, I suppose. I'll bet they're cooking up some new scheme to touch the old man. There's nothing like the first after-breakfast cigar if it's a good one. And this new lot have the right mellow flavor. They're a great bargain, too. Got them dead cheap. McGuire put me onto them.
I hope he didn't put you onto a new piece of property at the same time. His real estate bargains don't work out so well.
I wouldn't say that, Mary. After all, he was the one who advised me to buy that place on Chestnut Street, and I made a quick turnover on it for a fine profit.
Yes, I know. The famous one stroke of good luck. Oh, never mind, James. I know it's a waste of breath trying to convince you you're not a cunning real estate speculator.
I've no such idea, but land is land. And it's safer than the stocks and bonds of your Wall Street swindlers. Oh, well. Let's not argue about business this early in the morning.
Oh, James. It's Edmund Joe to scold for not eating enough. He hardly touched anything except coffee. He needs to eat to keep up his strength. I keep telling him that. Well, he says he simply has no appetite. Of course, there's nothing takes away your appetite like a bad summer cold.
Yes, it's only natural, so don't let yourself get worried.
Oh, I'm not. I know he'll be all right in a few days if he takes care of himself. But it does seem a shame he should have to be sick right now.
Yes, it is bad luck. But you mustn't let it upset you, Mary. Remember, you got to take care of yourself, too.
Upset? There's nothing to be upset about. What makes you think I'm upset?
Nothing. Except you've seemed a bit high-strung these past few days.
I have? Oh, nonsense, dear. It's your imagination. But you really must not watch me all the time, James. I mean, it makes me self-conscious.
No, Mary. That's your imagination. If I watched you, it was to admire how fat and beautiful you looked. I can't tell you, my darling, the deep happiness it gives me to see you the way you've been since you came back to us. Your dear old self again, eh? So keep up the good work, Mary.
I will, dear. Thank heavens the fog is gone. I do feel out of sorts this morning. I wasn't able to get much sleep with that awful foghorn going all night long.
Yeah, it's like having a sick whale in the backyard. Kept me awake, too.
Oh, did it? You had a strange way of showing your restlessness. You were snoring so hard I couldn't tell which was the foghorn. 10 foghorns couldn't disturb you. You haven't a nerve in you you've never had.
Nonsense. You always exaggerate about my snoring.
Oh, I couldn't. You could only hear yourself once. What's the joke, I wonder?
Well, it's on me, I'll bet that much. It's always on the old man.
Yes, it's terrible the way we all pick on you, isn't it? You're so abused. No matter what the joke is, it's a relief to hear Edmund laugh. He's been so down in the mouth.
That's some joke of Jamie's, I'll wager. He's forever making sneering fun of somebody, that one.
Don't start in on poor Jamie, dear. He'll turn out all right in the end. You wait and see.
You'd better start soon. He's nearly 34.
Good heavens, they're going to stay in the dining room all day. Jamie, Edmund, come in the living room. Give Kathleen a chance to clear the table.
Coming, Mama.
You'd find excuses for him no matter what he did.
I've been teasing your father about his snoring. Now, I leave it to the boys, James. They must have heard you. Oh, not you, Jamie. I could hear you down the hall almost as bad as your father. You're like him. As soon as your head touches the pillow, you're off, and 10 foghorns couldn't wake you. Why are you staring, Jamie? Is my hair coming down? It's hard for me to do it up properly now. My eyes are getting so bad, and I never can find my glasses.
Your hair's all right, Mama. I was only thinking how well you look.
Yeah, that's just what I was telling her, Jamie.
Yes, you certainly look grand, Mama. And I'll back you up about Papa's snoring. Gosh, what a racket.
I heard him, too. The Moor. I know his trumpet.
Well, if it takes my snoring to make you remember Shakespeare instead of the dope sheet on the ponies, I hope I'll keep on with it.
James, you mustn't be so touchy.
For Pete's sake, Papa, the first thing after breakfast, give it a
My
rest.
father wasn't finding fault with you. You don't have to always take Jamie's part. You think you were the one 10 years older.
What's all the fuss about? Let's forget it.
Yeah, forget everything and face nothing. It's a convenient philosophy. You got no ambition in life except...
Quiet. You must have gotten out of the wrong side of the bed this morning. What were you two grinning about, like Cheshire cats when you came in? What was the joke?
Yeah, let us in on it, lad. I was telling your mother I knew damn well it would be on me, but never mind, I'm used to it.
Well, don't look at me. This is the kid's story.
Well, I meant to tell you last night, Pop, and forgot it. Yesterday, when I went out for a walk, I dropped in at the inn.
Oh, you shouldn't drink now, Ed.
And who do you think I met there with a beautiful bun on? But Shaughnessy, the tenant on that farm here.
That dreadful man, but he is funny.
Yeah, well, he's not funny when you're his landlord. He's a wily shanty Mick, that one. He could hide behind a corkscrew. Well, what's he complaining about now, Edmund? For I'm damn sure he's complaining. I suppose he wants his rent lowered.
No, he didn't beef about anything. So pleased with life, he even bought a drink. And that's practically unheard of. No, he was delighted because he'd had a fight with your friend Harker, the Standard Oil millionaire, and won a glorious victory.
Yeah, I'll bet the next time you see Harker at the club and give him the old respectful bow, he won't see you.
Yes, Harker will think you're no gentleman for harboring a tenant who isn't humble in the presence of...
Never mind the socialist gabble. I don't care to listen to
Go
it.
on with your story, Edmund.
Well, you remember, Papa, the ice pond on Harker's estate is right next to the farm? You remember Shaughnessy keeps pigs? Well, it seems there's a break in the fence, and the pigs have been bathing in the millionaire's ice pond. And Harker's foreman told him he was sure Shaughnessy had broken the fence on purpose to give his pigs a free wallow.
I'm sure he did, too, the dirty scallywag. It's like...
So, Harker comes in person to rebuke Shaughnessy.
But what happened?
Shaughnessy got a few drinks under his belt. He's waiting at the gate to welcome him. He didn't give Harker a chance to open his mouth. Shaughnessy accused Harker of making his foreman break down the fence to entice the pigs into the ice pond in order to destroy them. The poor pigs, Shaughnessy yelled, have caught their deaths a cold. Many of them are dying of pneumonia, and several others have taken down with cholera from drinking the poisoned water. Told Harker he was hiring a lawyer to sue him for damages, and he wound up by saying he'd be damned if he'd stand for a Standard Oil thief trespassing. So would Harker kindly remove his dirty feet from the premises before he sicked the dogs on him? And Harker did.
What a terrible tongue that man.
That damned old scoundrel, by God, you can't beat him. The dirty blackguard. He'll get me into more serious trouble yet. I hope you told him I'd be mad as hell.
I told him you'd be tickled to death over the great Irish victory, and so you are. Stop faking, Bob.
Well, I'm not tickled to death.
Aren't you, James?
No, Mary, a joke is a joke. What are you laughing at? There's nothing funny. A fine son you are to help that blackguard get me into a lawsuit.
James, don't lose
And
your
you're worse than
temper.
he is encouraging him. I suppose you regret you weren't there to prompt Shaughnessy with a few nastier insults. You got a fine talent for that, if for
James,
nothing
there's
else.
no reason to scold James.
For God's sake, Pop, if you're going to start that stuff again, I'll beat it. I left my book upstairs anyway. God, Pop, I should think you get sick of hearing yourself.
You mustn't mind Edmund, James. Remember, he isn't well. A summer cold makes anyone irritable.
It's not just a cold he's got. The kid is damn sick.
Why do you say that? It is just a cold. Anyone can tell that. Always imagine things.
All Jamie meant was that Edmund may have a touch of something else that makes his cold a little worse.
Sure, Mama, that's all I meant.
See, Dr. Hardy thinks it might be a touch of malarial fever he caught when he was in the tropics. If so, could Andrew
Dr.
sing for it?
Hardy. I wouldn't believe a thing he said if you swore on a stack of Bibles. I know what doctors are. They're all alike. Anything. They don't care what to keep you coming to them. What? What is it? What are you looking at? Is my hair?
No. There's nothing wrong with your hair. The fatter and healthier you get, the vainer you become. You'll soon be spending half the day primping in front of the mirror.
I really should have new glasses. My eyes are so bad now.
Your eyes are beautiful. And well, you know it.
Oh, Jay. You must be so silly. Right in front of Jamie. But I did truly have beautiful hair once, didn't I, James?
The most beautiful in the world.
It was a rare shade of reddish brown and so long it came down below my knees. You ought to remember it too, Jamie. It wasn't until after Edmund was born that I had a single gray hair. Then it began to turn white.
And that made it prettier than ever.
Would you listen to your father, Jamie? After 35 years of marriage, he isn't a great actor for nothing, is he? What's come over you, James? Are you pouring coals of fire on my head for teasing you about snoring? Well, then, I take it all back. It must have been only the foghorn I heard. But I can't stay with you any longer, even to hear compliments. I must see the cook about dinner and the day's marketing. Bridget is so lazy and so sly. She begins telling me about her relatives, so I can't get a word in edgeways and scold her. Well, I might as well get it all. You mustn't make Edmund work on the grounds with you, James, remember. Not that he isn't strong enough, but he'd perspire. He might catch more cold.
You're a fine lunkhead. Haven't you any sense? The one thing to avoid is saying anything that'll get her more upset.
Oh,
forever.
all right. Have it your way. But I think it's the wrong idea to let her go on kidding herself with this summer cold talk. She knows better than that.
Knows? Nobody knows yet.
Well, I do. I was with Edmund when he saw Doc Hardy on Monday. I heard him pull that touch of malaria stuff. He was stalling. That isn't what he thinks anymore. You know it as well as I do. You talked to him yesterday when you went uptown, didn't you?
He couldn't say anything for sure yet. He's to call me today before Edmund goes to him.
He thinks it's consumption. Doesn't he, Papa?
He said it might be.
Poor kid. God damn it. It might never have happened if you'd sent him to a real doctor when he first got sick.
What's the matter with Hardy? Huh? He's always been our doctor up here.
Everything's the matter with him. Even in this Hickburg, he's rated third class. He's a cheap old quack.
That's right. Run him down. Run everyone down. Everybody's a fake to you.
Hardy only charges $1. That's what makes you think he's such a fine doctor.
That's enough. You're not drunk now. There's no excuse. If you mean I can't afford one of those fine society doctors that prey on the rich summer.
You're one of the biggest property owners around here.
That doesn't mean I'm rich. It's all mortgage.
Yeah, because you keep on buying instead of paying off mortgages. If Edmund was a lousy acre of land you wanted, the sky would be the limit.
That's a lie. And your sneers against Dr. Hardy are lies.
All right. I'm a fool to argue. You can't change the leopard's spots.
No, you can't. You've taught me that lesson only too well. I've lost all hope you'll ever change yours. You dare tell me what I can afford. You've never known the value of $1 and never will. You'll never save the dollar in your life. At the end of each season, you're penniless. You've thrown your salary away every week on whores and
My
whiskey.
salary, Christ.
Yeah, well, it's more than you're worth, and you wouldn't get that if it wasn't for me. If you weren't my son, there isn't a manager in the business who'd give you a part. Your reputation stinks so.
I never wanted to be an actor. You forced me on the stage.
Forced you? You never wanted to do anything except loaf in bar rooms. You'd have been content to sit back like a lazy lunk and sponge off me for the rest of your life. And after all the money I wasted on your education, all you did was get fired and disgraced from every college.
For God's sake,
you ever
don't
went.
drag up that ancient
Yeah, well,
history.
it's not ancient history. You have to come home every summer and live on me.
I earned my board and lodging working on the ground. Saves you hiring a man.
You have to be driven to do even that much. I wouldn't give a damn if you displayed the slightest gratitude. But the only thanks is to have you sneer at me for a dirty miser. Sneer at my profession. Sneer at every damn thing in the world except yourself.
That's not true, Papa. You can't hear me talking to myself, that's all.
If you'd get ambition in your head instead of folly. You're young yet. You could still make your mark. You had a talent to become a fine actor. You have it still. You're my son.
Let's forget about me. I'm not interested in the subject, and neither are you. What started us on this? Oh, Doc Hardy. Well, when is he going to call you up about Edmund?
Around lunchtime. I couldn't have sent Edmund to a better doctor. Hardy's treated him whenever he was sick up here ever since he was knee-high. And what could the finest specialists in America do for Edmund after he's deliberately ruined his health by the mad life he's led ever since he was fired from college? He's always been a bundle of nerves, like his mother. And I warned him for years. His body wouldn't stand it. He wouldn't heed me. Now it's too late.
What do you mean, too late? You talk as if you
Don't
thought he
be a
was
damn fool. I meant nothing but what's plain to everyone. His health is broken down, and he may be an invalid for some time.
I know it's an Irish peasant idea that consumption is fatal. It probably is when you live in a hovel in a bog. But over here with modern...
Keep your dirty
treatment, there's
tongue
no-
off Ireland with your sneers about peasants and bogs and hovels. And the less you say about Edmund's sickness, the better for your conscience. You're more responsible than anyone.
That's a lie, Papa. I won't stand for
That's
that.
the truth. You've been the worst influence for him, pumping him full of what you consider worldly wisdom. When he was too young to see that your mind was so poisoned by your own failure in life, you wanted to believe every man was a knave with his soul for sale, and every woman who wasn't a whore was a fool.
All right. I did put Edmund wise to things. But not until I'd seen he started to raise hell and knew he'd laugh at me if I used that good advice older brother stuff. Besides, it's damned rot. He's as stubborn as hell inside. And what he does is what he wants to do, and to hell with anybody else. What had I to do with the crazy stunts he's pulled in the last few years? Working his way all over the map as a sailor and all that stuff. Thought it was a damn fool idea, and I told him so. You can't imagine me getting fun being on a beach in South America, or living in a filthy dive drinking rot gut
Well,
candy.
at least he's had the guts to go off on his own where he couldn't come whining to me the minute he was broke.
He's always come home broke finally, hasn't he? And what's his going away got him? Look at him now. Christ. That's a lousy thing to say. That's not what I meant.
He's been doing well on that newspaper.
A hick town rag. Whatever bull they hand you, they tell me he's a pretty bum reporter. If he weren't your son...
Well, at least he's made a start. You used to talk about wanting to be a newspaperman, but you were never willing to start at the bottom.
For Christ's sake, can't you lay off me?
Well, it's damnable luck Edmund should get sick right now. It couldn't come at a worse time for him. Or for your mother. It's damnable she should have this to upset her just when she needs peace and freedom from worry. She's been so well in the 2 months since she's been home. It's been heaven to me. This home seemed like a home again. But I needn't tell you, Jamie.
No, I felt the same way, Papa.
Yeah, this time you can see how strong and sure of herself she is. She's a different woman entirely from the other times. She's got control of her nerves now. Or she did have until Edmund took sick, and now you can feel her growing tense and frightened underneath. I wish to God we could keep the truth from her, but we can't if he has to be sent to a sanatorium. And what makes matters worse, her father died of consumption. She worshipped him. She's never forgotten it. It'll be hard for her, but she can do it. She's got the willpower now. And we must help her, Jamie, in every way we can.
Of course, Papa. Outside of nerves, she seems perfectly fine this morning.
Never better. She's full of fun and mischief. Why did you say seems? Why shouldn't she be all right? What the hell do you mean?
Now, don't start jumping down my throat. God, Papa, this is one thing we ought to be able to talk over frankly without a battle.
I'm sorry, Jamie. But go on and tell me.
Well, there's nothing to tell. I was all wrong. It's just that last night, well, you know how it is. We can't forget the past. I can't help being suspicious any more than you can. That's the hell of it. It makes it hell for Mama. She watches us watching her.
I know. But what was it? Can't you speak out?
Around 3 o'clock this morning, I woke up and I heard her moving around in the spare room. Then she went to the bathroom. I pretended to be asleep. She stopped in the hall to listen, as if she wanted to make sure that I was.
Is that all? She told me herself the foghorn kept her awake all night. And every night since Edmund's been sick, she'd been up and down going to his room to see how he was.
Yes. That's right. She did stop outside his door to listen. was her being in the spare room that scared me. I couldn't help remembering that whenever she starts sleeping alone in there, it's always been a sign.
Not this time. It's easily explained. Where else could she go to get away from my snoring? Good God, how you could live with a mind that sees the worst motives behind everything is beyond me.
Don't pull that. I just said I was all wrong, didn't I? Don't you think I'm as glad of that as you are?
I'm sure you are, Jamie. Oh, God, it'd be like a curse she can't escape of worry over Edmund's sickness. It was during her long illness after bringing him into the world that she first started.
Oh, she didn't have anything to do with it.
Yeah, well, I'm not blaming her.
Well, then who are you blaming? Edmund for being born?
Don't be a damn fool. No one was to blame.
The bastard of a doctor was. From what Mama said, he was another cheap quack like Hardy. You wouldn't pay
So
for...
I'm to blame. That's what you're dragging out.
Well, if we're going to go cut that front hedge today, we better get started.
Yeah, it's too nice a day to waste indoors arguing. Take a look out the window, Mary. There's no fog in the harbor. I'm sure the spell we've had of it is over now.
I hope so, dear. What were you two arguing about?
Same old stuff.
I heard you say something about a doctor.
Oh, that. I was saying again that Dr. Hardy is not my idea of the world's greatest physician.
No, I wouldn't say it was either. That Bridget, I thought I'd never get away. She told me all about her second cousin on the police force in St. Louis. Well, if you're going to work on the hedge, why don't you go? I mean, take advantage of the sunshine before the fog comes back, because I know it will. Oh, I should say, the rheumatism in my hands knows. It's a better weather prophet than you are, James. But how ugly they are. Who'd ever believe they were once beautiful?
No, Mary. They're the sweetest hands in the world. Come on, Jamie. Your mother's right to scold us. The way to start work is to start work.
We're all so proud of you, Mama. So darned happy. But you still gotta be careful. You mustn't worry so much about Edmund. He'll be all right.
Well, of course he'll be all right, and I don't know what you mean warning me to be careful.
All right, Mama. Sorry I spoke.
Oh, here you are. I was just going upstairs to look for you.
I waited till they went out. I don't want to mix up in any arguments. I feel too rotten.
Oh, I'm sure you don't feel half as badly as you make out. You're such a baby. You like to get us worried, so make a fuss over you. I'm only teasing, dear. I know how miserably uncomfortable you must be. Oh, you feel better today, don't you? All the same, you've grown much too thin. You need to rest all you can. Here, sit down. I'll make you comfortable. There. Oh. There. How's that?
It's grand, thanks, Mama.
All you need is your mother to nurse you. Big as you are, you're still the baby of the family to me, you know.
You never mind me. You take care of yourself. That's all that counts.
But I am, dear. Don't you see how fat I've grown? I'll have to have all my dresses let out. They started clipping the hedge. Poor Jamie. How he hates working in front where everyone passing can see him. There go the Chatfields in their new Mercedes. It's a beautiful car, isn't it? Not like our second-hand Packard. Poor Jamie. He bent almost under the hedge so they wouldn't notice him. They bowed to your father. He bowed back as if he were taking a curtain call. That filthy old suit I've tried to make him throw away. Really, he ought to have more pride than to make such a show of himself.
He's right not to give a damn what anyone thinks. For Pete's sake, who's ever heard of the Chatfields outside of this hickburg?
No one. You're quite right, Edmund. Big frogs in a small puddle. 'Tis stupid of Jamie. Still, the Chatfields, people like them stand for something. I mean, they have decent, presentable homes they don't have to be ashamed of. They have friends who entertain them, and whom they entertain, they're not cut off from everyone. Not that I want anything to do with them. I've always hated this town and everyone in it, you know that. I never wanted to live here in the first place. But your father liked it. Insisted on building this house, and I've had to come here every summer.
Well, this town's not so bad. I like it well enough. I suppose because it's the only home we've ever had.
I never felt it was my home. It was wrong. Even it was stubborn. Everything was done in the cheapest way. But your father would never spend the money to make it right. It's just as well we haven't any friends here. I'd be ashamed to have him step in the door. But he's never wanted family friends. All he likes is to hobnob with men at the club or in a bar room. You've never had a chance to meet decent people here. I know you both would have been so different if you'd been able to associate with nice girls instead. You've never disgraced yourselves the way you have, so that now no respectable parents will let their daughters be seen with you.
Forget it, Mama. Who cares? Jamie and I'd be bored stiff. And about the old man, once he used to talk, and you can't change him.
Don't call your father the old man. You should have more respect. Oh, I know. It's useless to talk. But sometimes I feel so lonely.
Anyway, Mama, you gotta be fair. May have been all his fault in the beginning, but you know that later on, even if he'd wanted to, we couldn't have had people here. I mean, you wouldn't have wanted...
Don't. I can't bear having you remind me.
Don't take it that way, Mama, please. I'm trying to help you. Because it's bad for you to forget. God, Mama, you know I hate to remind you. You're doing it because it's been so wonderful having you home here the way you've been, and it would be terrible.
Please, dear, I know you mean it for the best. I don't understand why you should suddenly say such things. What put it in your mind this morning?
Nothing. Just because I feel rotten and blue, I suppose.
Tell me the truth. Why are you so suspicious all of a sudden?
I'm not.
Oh, yes, you are. I can feel it. Your father and Jamie, too, particularly Jamie.
And don't start imagining things, Mama.
It makes it so much harder living in this atmosphere of constant suspicion, knowing everyone is spying on me. None of you believe in me or trust me.
Well, that's crazy, Mama. We do
There's
trust you.
only some place I could go to get away for a day, or even an afternoon. Some woman friend I could talk to. I mean, not about anything serious. Simply laugh and gossip and forget for a while. Someone besides the servants. Stupid Kathleen.
Stop it, Mama. You're getting yourself worked up all over nothing.
Because you're afraid to trust me alone. I insist you tell me why you act so differently this morning, why you felt you had to remind me.
I'm stupid. It's just that I wasn't asleep when you came into my room last night. You didn't go back to your papa's room. You went into the spare room for the rest of the night.
Because your father's snoring was driving me crazy, for heaven's sake. Haven't I often used the spare room as my bedroom? Oh. I see what you thought.
I
that was
didn't think anything.
So you pretended to be asleep in order to spy on me.
No, I did it because I knew if you found out I was feverish and couldn't sleep, it would upset you.
Jamie was pretending to be asleep, too, I'm sure. And I suppose your father.
Stop it, man.
I can't bear it, Edmund, when even you... It'd serve all of you right if it was true.
Mama, don't say that. That's the way you talk.
Stop suspecting me. Please, dear. You hurt me. I couldn't sleep because I was thinking of you. That's the real reason. I've been so worried ever since you've been sick.
That's foolishness. You know it's only a bad cold.
Yes, of course I know that.
Even if it should turn out to be something worse, I mean, you know I'll soon be all right again anyway. You won't worry yourself sick, and you'll keep on taking care of yourself.
Listen, you're so silly. Of course, I promise you. I give you my sacred word of honor. I suppose you're remembering I've promised before on my word of honor.
No.
I'm not blaming you, dear. How can you help it? How can any one of us forget? That's what makes it so hard for all of us. We can't forget.
Stop it, Mama.
I'm all right, dear. Except I naturally feel tired and nervous this morning after such a bad night. I really ought to go upstairs and lie down until lunchtime and take a nap. What are you going to do? Read here? It'd be much better for you to go out in the fresh air and sunshine. But don't get overheated, remember. Be sure and wear a hat. Or are you afraid to trust me alone?
No. Can't you stop talking like that? No, I think you ought to take a nap. I'll go down and help Jamie bear up. I'll have to lie in the shade and watch him work.